Hey friends, how's it going today? This is Julie Hamilton with Life Builders, bringing you simple tips for a strong and healthy life. I hope you're doing well today and enjoying your Friday. And just having a good day. So how are you doing? I want to know what you guys are reading today. I'm going to do my first live book review just to see how it goes, what you think about it. And then you can let me know, and I want to hear what you're reading. So let me know what you're reading that's really influencing you right now. This book review comes out of a goal that I made at the beginning of the year. I realized last year that I really wasn't reading very much. And so I decided I made it one of my goals this year to read one book a month. And some of my goals I've done really great on. Some of them I've totally failed on. And this one is one that has been, it's tough because reading when you're a homeschooling and working mom is a challenge. But I've been able to read quite a few really, really good books, and it's been a blessing. So today I'm going to be talking about this book called The War of Art. And last night in our Propel series about Passion Under Siege, Bianca Olthoff brought this book up, and it was so perfect because I just finished reading it 2 days ago. And this is the book, The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. You've heard of The Art of War. And this is the war that goes on to keep us from this, the war of art is the war that goes on to keep us from doing all the things that we're called to do. So some of the things that I would note about it that I really enjoyed about it are that he basically takes this form of resistance. So he is basically saying when we create, it's a divine inspiration. And if you're really sticky about like using the word God and stuff like that, you might be thrown off because he uses a lot of the word muse, like the muse whispers to us and the muse inspires us. And as you write, the muse comes, and he talks about angels a lot, but it's probably not in the sense that maybe you or I would technically talk about angels. He uses a lot of Greek mythology. And so if those things throw you off, which I don't think they should, because what he's saying is it's all divinely inspired. However, with anything that's divinely inspired, there are going to be roadblocks, and there is going to be roadblocks that try to keep you, from achieving your purpose in this life. And one of the things that he said that stood out most to me was that he personifies resistance. And he lists all these characteristics. And you can see that the chapters are not very long. They're maybe this long, or, I mean, you can read it in different little pieces and parts. You don't have to do it all in one time. One of the things that I keep going back to is he said resistance uses logic. So it always justifies. So when I wake up this morning, like for instance, I want to be healthy. I want to go work out. Well, when I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning or 5:55, I don't want to go work out. This morning I did not want to go work out. And my brain was telling me logically, like all the rationalizations why I shouldn't go work out. Like you can go later in the day, you can do this, you can sleep in, you were tired, you had a late night. And all of that is just resistance to keep me from doing the things that I need to do and achieving the goals that I need to achieve. So it's not about art. It's more about the resistant process that keeps us from starting that new diet or running that marathon or creating something that we feel deep down in us is a part of who we are, and listening to that little voice in us that says like it believes that we could do that. And so one other thing that he said that stood out to me, there's a lot of them and I really want to reread this book, but one of the things he said is that when you, as a writer for instance, when you go to write, the writing is not hard. It's the sitting down to write that's hard. And that's what I struggle with, you know, in terms of creating and life builders and stuff like that. I want time to sit down and create, and I have a lot of resistance, a lot of areas of resistance in my life that make that really challenging. So that was a good thing for me to remember. Okay, you just have to sit down and do it and do the work, and the inspiration will come. That's his whole point in here. And the other point that I wanted to tell you is that the book did make me cry. And I'll tell you why. It's this chapter on fear. And here, I'll just read it. It says, resistance feeds on fear. We experience resistance as fear, but fear of what? Fear of the consequences of following our heart, fear of bankruptcy, fear of poverty, fear of insolvency, fear of groveling when we try to make it on our own, and of groveling when we give up and come crawling back to where we started. Fear of being selfish, of being rotten wives or disloyal husbands. fear of failing to support our families or sacrificing their dreams for our own, the fear of betraying our race, our hood, our homies, fear of failure, fear of being ridiculous, fear of throwing away the education and the training and the preparation that those we love have sacrificed so much for, that we ourselves have worked our butts off for, fear of launching into the void, of hurtling too far out there, fear of passing some point of no return beyond which we cannot recant, cannot reverse, cannot rescind, but must live with this cocked up choice for the rest of our lives, fear of madness, fear of insanity, fear of death. Are those the serious ones? Here he goes. These are serious fears, but they're not the real fear, not the master fear, the mother of all fears that's so close to us that even when we verbalize it, we don't believe it. It's the fear that we will succeed, that we can access the powers we secretly know we possess, that we can become the person we sense in our hearts that we truly are. This is the most terrifying prospect a human being can face, because it ejects him at one go, he imagines, from all the tribal inclusions his psyche is wired for and has been for 50 million years. This is the part that made me cry, actually. We fear discovering that we are more than we think we are. We are more than our parents, children, teachers think we are. We fear that we actually possess the talent that our still small voice tells us, that we actually have the guts, the perseverance, the capacity. We fear that we can truly steer our ship, plant our flag, reach our promised land. And we fear this because if it's true, then we become estranged from all that we know. And I just thought it really touched me, because those are a lot of fears that you face when you're trying to create and you're trying to birth this thing that's inside of you and trying to just bring it out into the world. But I love that he is just saying, like, what you have inside of you is divine, and it's purposeful, and it's what we're supposed to be doing. So if you have not read this book, The War of Art, go read it, especially if you need to overcome an obstacle. It's really, really good for encouraging you to do that. And as far as what I'm reading next, this is what I'm reading next. And I'm sorry, it's backwards. The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. So if you want to join me in reading this book, this is what I'm on. I just started it. I'm on chapter 2. It's really, the books are like the chapters are like 4 or 5 pages long. Read about the law of the lid. That is where your lid of leadership is, that the organization could go no farther than where you are in terms of being a leader. That was the first one. So we need to get our leadership skills on, guys. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and I can't believe it's less than a week till Thanksgiving now. I hope you have a very, very blessed day and get to spend some time off your phone and in the real world, and just be full of faith for all the things that you believe are way down deep inside you that are just dying to come out. And just to know, I want you to know that the world needs what you have inside of you, and it's not a waste. Don't hide it. We need you. We need everything that you are and everything that you have. So may your minds be fierce and your hearts be brave and your spirits be strong. Have a great weekend. I love you. Bye.